Hi everyone, and welcome to this full body Pilates workout. We are going to start with some sitting mobility to get everything warmed up and ready to move. So find yourself a comfortable sitting position and let's get going. So I'm going to start cross-legged and we're going to start from the neck. So looking over each shoulder. And then lifting the head up and chin down onto the chest. And then keeping the shoulders down and back, we're going to take the ear across towards the shoulder. You should feel a nice big stretch down the side of your neck here. And then we'll move this into a circle of the neck. Nice big slow circles, just working through any clicks or cracks that you might feel or hear. And then we'll go the other way. And then let's bring the head back up to the middle, fingertips onto the shoulders. Let's warm up the shoulders just with some circles from the elbow. A few times one way and then the other way. And then we'll take the hands down to the sides. Keep the right hand down, we're going to float the left arm up and overhead. That down to the side, 2 more. And then the other side. Feel that nice opening down the side of the body. Okay, from here we're going to work a little bit on the hips. So take the hands down by the sides, knees bent, feet out in front, and we're just going to open up the hips one side to the other. One more on each side. And then we'll come back to the center. And taking the right foot up, we're just going to circle the ankle a few times one way and then the other way. Again, you might get quite a few clicks and cracks here in the feet. No worries, let's swap sides. And the other way. And then while we're here, we're going to start to warm up the hip flexors a little bit and strengthen the hip flexors a little bit. So hands at the sides, sit up nice and tall. We're going to lift one leg and then the other. The aim here is to keep the legs straight. And we're using this hip flexor muscle here right at the top of the leg to lift and lower the leg. So lifting as high as you can, lowering back down. Okay. We're now going to roll ourselves down onto the mat. And we're going to do a little bit more opening up of the hips. So keeping the left foot down on the mat, we're going to bring the right leg up into tabletop. We're going to take the right arm out to the side, and then from here we're going to just open up that hip and bring that leg back up. So we're working on the hip mobility and also the strength of that inner thigh muscle, the hip adductor, to bring that leg back up. As you lower that leg down to the side, I want you to think about anchoring through the lower back on the left hand side. So not allowing this part of your lower back to lift up from the mat. Last one on this leg, and then we'll switch. So right foot down, right arm by the side, left leg now up into tabletop and left arm out to the side. And the same thing, so we're lowering that leg down, then using the strength of those inner thigh muscles to control the movement of the leg back up. Again, now I'm really thinking about anchoring down here on the right hand side to make sure that my lower back isn't lifting. And last one. And then let's bring that foot down, both palms by the sides now. And we're going to move this into one leg circle. So we're going to keep the left leg down. We're going to take the right foot straight up towards the ceiling. And we're starting to make a small circle with the foot, so circling from the hip. Gradually making that circle bigger, and again just anchoring down through the core, the lower back on the left hand side. So as that circle gets bigger, not allowing the lower back to lift. Nice big circle. And then we'll change direction again, starting small. Gradually making that circle bigger, trying to keep the non-working leg, so the left leg, still as well. A great exercise for mobility of the hip, strength of all the muscles around the hip, and also your core's having to work to keep you stable. And let's switch legs. So right foot down. You can stretch that right leg out a little bit if you want to just release that hip flexor for a moment. Then bring the right foot back onto the mat. Same thing on the left hand side now. Now immediately you might notice you have more or less mobility on one leg than the other, which is totally normal. But that's why we do so many single leg and single arm exercises, to try and address these little imbalances that we have. So again, we're now making that circle wider, and I'm working hard here to try and keep this right leg still, my lower back pulled in on the right hand side. And we'll switch directions. And last one, and we're going to give that hip flexor a rest. We'll stretch both legs out long. Take the arms overhead if you want a full body stretch here. When you're ready, palms back down by the sides, let's bend the knees. And then we're going to take both legs up into tabletop. So let's tilt our pelvis backwards slightly. Pull down through your belly button into the mat, and then lift one leg and then the other leg up into that tabletop position. From here, we're going to do one leg stretch. So we're just going to straighten one leg and then the other. So notice that to start, I'm straightening the leg, but I'm keeping the foot high. And this is a good option if you're new to Pilates, coming back from an injury, or just building your core strength. If you want to make this harder, you can make it harder by varying how low you take the foot. Perhaps you're going to bring the foot all the way down and tap the heel down onto the mat in front of you. All the time we're pulling that belly button down, making sure that as we extend the leg, the lower back doesn't lift. And there's the option here to bring both legs in together. Again, you can start with the feet high. And perhaps you can work on taking the feet lower. You need a lot of core strength to bring the heels all the way down with both legs, so be very mindful. Any stress in the lower back or any lifting of the lower back, that's a sign to take it down a notch or take a complete rest. Two more. And let's hug the knees in. From here, we're going to roll onto one side. And we're going to do the first of our side lying exercises. So into a nice long straight line here. Top hand out in front for a little bit of support. Bottom arm out long, supporting the head. We're going to start by keeping the legs together and keeping the bottom leg down. We're just going to lift up here from the waist, create a little bit of space in between your waist and the mat. We're going to lift the heel of the top foot only, and then we're going to lift and lower that top leg. So again, another good exercise for your hip mobility, and we're working on these hip abductor muscles now, the muscles that take your leg away from your body. Important hip stabilizing muscles, which also helps protect your knees. On this next one, we're going to hold the leg up and we're going to pulse for 10 seconds. Keep that leg as high as you can, lighting up a little fire in the outside in that hip. And then we're going to hold it up and relax the leg down. Well done. Bring the knees towards the front of the mat. Give yourself a little massage here. When you're ready, we're going to roll ourselves over and we're going to come up into 4-point kneeling. We're going to take a little cat-cow stretch here, so pulling the belly button up and in, rounding the top of the back, and then pushing the belly down, lifting the chest. One more in each direction, just moving in a way that feels good for you here. And then we're going to come back into our neutral position in tabletop with the knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders. Hips are going to stay level. We want to keep a nice flat back here, and we're going to go into our swimming exercise. So we're extending out opposite arm and leg into a nice long straight line. Imagine someone's pulling you from the tips of your fingers to the tips of your toes. Come back down on an exhale, inhale at the bottom, exhale, and let's take it to the other side. Couple of breaths here, keeping that balance, that control. On an exhale, back down we come to the mat. Inhale, extend out to the other side. Down we come on an exhale, inhaling at the bottom. And keep going in your own breath. Take 2 or 3 breath cycles when you're fully extended. Remember to come down on an exhale, inhale as you're still, exhale to move. This time we're going to crunch elbow to the knee underneath the body, staying on one side, knee to the elbow, extend back out, knee to the elbow, extend back out, really working the abdominals now, trying to lift the thigh up as close to the chest as we can, keeping your balance, knee to that elbow and crunch. Last couple. Hold it for a moment and then we'll come back down to the mat. Inhale here, and then when you're ready, exhale, and we'll do it on the other side. Same thing, knee to the elbow, crunch it in, bringing that thigh up to the chest. Alright, last 1 or 2. Hold it, and down we come. Well done. Feel free to circle out the wrists here. Wrists can get a little bit tired in some of these positions. Some people like to come down onto their knuckles, or even onto the tips of the fingers can feel quite good, or back down onto the palms of the hands if you're comfortable here. From here we're going to get the glutes working, so let's take the left leg up, sole of the foot up towards the sky, and we're pulsing up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's switch legs. Right leg up, sole of the foot up towards the sky, up we come. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Let's do that once more on each side, in your own time. Squeezing that glute, trying to lift the foot as high as you can. And last set on the second side, up we go. And relax. Well done. Now we're going to take a breather in child's pose, so let's sit back onto the heels. Take a few nice deep breaths in and out here. Well done. Okay, we're coming down onto our tummies now, and we're going to go up into Swan Dive. So we're going to be working these lower back muscles and trying to relax the glutes. So toes together, heels out to the side. My forearms are off the mat, elbows are out in line with the shoulders. I'm going to peel up the chest, keeping my belly button pulled up and away from the mat. lifting up the chest, keeping the head looking straight down. So I'm using these muscles in the lower back to lift and lower. The glutes naturally are going to try and help. They're the biggest muscle we have in the body. They do try and help, but we have to try and keep them relaxed. So use that mind-body connection to focus on those lower back muscles. Keep that core connection as you lift perhaps a little bit higher. Remember to keep the head looking straight down, no crunching of the neck, no need to look forward. And we can add in lifting up the arms if you want to make this any harder. Just be conscious here that you're still maintaining that core connection all the way through the movement and keeping the glutes as relaxed as possible, maintaining all the strength work in the lower back. And then we'll take a little breather here. So hands underneath the head. Take the head to one side. You can rock the hips out a little bit here before we move on. I'm moving on to my other side now, and we're going to do those side lying leg raises on the opposite side. So again, the first thing we're going to do now that we're out in our nice long straight line is make that little bit of space underneath the waist, in between the waist and the mat. So lift up slightly, engaging the obliques. Lift the heel of that top leg, and then we're going to lift and lower the top leg. So just notice here if this was easier on the other leg or on this leg. Just notice the differences from one side of your body to the next. Perhaps you can lift a little higher here, perhaps it's not so easy. This is why we do all of these single leg exercises on both sides, to try and address any imbalances that we have. And we're going to hold the leg up now and pulse it for 10. The last few seconds. And let's hold that leg up and relax the legs down. Bring the knees towards the front again. And again, just give that glute a little massage if it needs it. Well done. And when you're ready, we're going to roll ourselves back onto our backs. So pop yourself over onto your back when you're ready. So palms back down by the sides. Let's start to pull the ribs down towards the hips. Tilt the pelvis back slightly. Feel your belly button drawing you down into the mat. And then we're going to lift both legs straight up. This is where we find out if our legs or arms are unusually long or short. And we're going to try reaching the fingertips up towards the toes. So crunching up from the mat, lifting up the head and the shoulders, really focusing on the upper abdominals here. So try not to crunch the neck, keep a little bit of space in between the chin and the chest as we reach up and then lower down. These are pretty difficult, so last few of these. And we're going to hold up on the last one. Here we go. And then lower down. Keep both legs straight up, palms down by the sides. And now, keeping that really strong core connection, we're going to lower the legs down together and raise back up. As we lower the legs, we're going to point the toes back towards us. So flex and then point as you raise the legs. So flex the feet and point. Now we're targeting the lower abdominals, so that stubborn little area below the belly button. Again, really tough exercise for the core, so just go as far as you feel comfortable. Any stress in the lower back, any pain in the lower back, that's a sign to take it down a notch or perhaps take a complete rest. And let's hug the knees in. Well done, that's not easy. Take a little breather here. And we're going to go up into shoulder bridge now. So we're going to start off our shoulder bridge by tilting our pelvis backwards. Taking an inhale, peeling up from the tailbone on an exhale, up high onto the shoulders, lifting the hips up high, pushing through the glutes, through the heels. Keeping those hips up as high as we can for a couple of inhales and exhales, and then on a lovely long exhale, we're rolling down one vertebrae at a time. Coming back down into our neutral position. And then taking the inhale, tucking the tailbone, and then peeling up one vertebrae at a time. So being very deliberate about the movement here. As you roll up and roll down, think about each part of your vertebrae, making contact with the mat and leaving the mat one after the other. We're giving the hip flexors a nice stretch at the top, they get a good break here. And we're really working the glutes. So keep going in your own breath, remembering to move on an exhale and inhale to prepare. Now we're going to work individually on each glute. So with the hips up high, we're going to take the weight into the right leg and we're going to raise the left leg so that the thighs are parallel. We're going to hold here. Now don't let those hips drop. Hold those legs up. Are you breathing? Are you smiling? And lower the left leg. Same thing now on the right leg. Keep those hips up. Really pushing firmly now out of that left glute, through the left heel. Last few seconds, and down we come. Now push those hips back up. Look how much mine have dropped. There we go, that's much better. Then on a lovely long exhale, we are going to roll ourselves nice and slowly back down onto the mat. From here, we'll just drop the legs over to one side, take a release stretch. And then over to the other side. And when you're ready, legs back to the middle, palms back down by the sides. And we're taking both legs up into tabletop. Remember, you've always got the option to take a break here. We're going up into the 100. If you need to hug the knees in, please do. Otherwise, join me here, legs in tabletop. we're going to peel the head and the shoulders up. We're going to look through that space in between the knees. And then I'm going to start with the firm beat of the arms up and down. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and let's keep going. So I like to inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. We're about halfway now, so feel free to straighten out the legs if you wish. The lower you take the legs, the harder it's going to be. Keep going with that really firm beat of the hands. And as I always say in my classes, it's easier when you smile. Almost there, keep going. Last few seconds and relax. Beautiful work, well done. Hug those knees in. And then let's take a full body stretch. Legs out long, arms overhead. Point the toes. Stretch through the fingers. When you feel ready, we're going to start working on our roll up and rolling back. So let's raise the arms, fingertips up towards the ceiling. Let's bring the ribs down, start to bring that core connection back in. Pull the belly button down into the mat. Remember, we're going to start with an inhale, and as we exhale, we're going to raise ourselves up using the strength of the core without momentum up into this sitting position. And then from here, we're going to work on rolling back. We always start with a nice curve of the lumbar spine. Just coming back as far as you feel confident to then take your inhale, exhale back up to sitting. So rolling back as far as you feel confident. It might well be all the way down to the mat. Don't take the arms overhead here, just take the fingertips up, keep that rib to hip connection, keep the core engaged, inhale, exhale to come up. So keep going at whatever level works for you, just coming back as far as you feel confident. It might just be a few inches, it might be all the way down and back, whatever works for you. I'm going to show you a different hand position now, so I'm going to take fingertips to the side of the head, elbows out wide. And we're going to roll back from here. So this is more difficult, so give this a go if you'd like to. It makes the rolling up section much harder. See how I had to flick my elbows forward there? Try and keep the elbows out to the side as you roll back. Let's keep going. And then we're going to make this next one the last one, and we'll roll all the way down to the mat and take a full body stretch. And let's just relax here for a moment. Well done, that was a tough one. Take a good rest here. And when you're ready, we're going to roll ourselves over onto our bellies. And we're moving on now. We're going to take a little baby cobra stretch here. So we're going to lift up the chest, elbows under the shoulders, forearms out in front. Look forward. Nice little stretch for the front of the body here. And then we're going to move on into a half plank. So starting from the knees, hips level, back flat. Breathing here, pulling the belly button up and in. Keep that breath flowing, don't hold your breath. We're not here for too much longer. And this is the last hard thing that we're doing before we stretch. Last few seconds. Keep breathing. And down we come. Let's take another stretch, baby cobra. Lift that chest again, stretch through the front of the tummy. And then we're going to do one more plank before we stretch. This time, option to come up onto the toes. So if you want to come onto the toes, push back through the heels and again, flat back. Almost there, really well done. Last few seconds. And down we come. And when you're ready, we're going to roll ourselves over onto our backs. And we're going to take a nice stretch now. So all the hard work is done. All you need to do now is breathe deeply into these stretches. So we'll start off with the soles of the feet together. Let the knees come out to the side. Hands onto the belly. So a lovely stretch for the inner thighs here in this reclined cobbler's pose. And then we'll use the hands just to guide the legs back up to the centre. And we're going to stretch out the glutes now. So starting off crossing the left ankle onto the right thigh, clasping the hands behind that right leg and hugging the legs in. Nice big stretch for this right glute. And we're going to move into a reclined twist here, so stretching the right leg out long, keeping the left leg up, left arm out to the side, and then with the right hand we're going to guide that left leg across the body into a big twist. And if it's comfortable for you, we're going to look back towards this left hand. Just enjoy this beautiful stretch with some nice deep breaths. And when you're ready, we're going to take this all over to the other side. So right ankle this time onto the left thigh, clasping the hands behind that left thigh, hugging those legs in. Big glute stretch. And again, we're going to take that twist to the other side. So left leg out long, right leg stays up, right arm out to the side, and with the left hand, we're going to guide that right leg across the body. Beautiful big twist, looking back over towards that right hand. And now we're going to roll ourselves over to the left, push yourself up with that right hand, and we're going to come up into a comfortable cross-leg position here to finish off our stretching. Right hand down to the side, let's sweep the left hand up and overhead. Nice big stretch down the side of the body, keeping the sit bones on the mat. You can keep the eyes closed here. And then we'll take it over to the other side. Left hand down, right arm up and overhead. Keep the chest lifted here, keep the heart open. Sit bones down, nice big stretch down the side of the rib cage. And then from here we're going to make our way up onto our knees to stretch out the hip flexors and the hamstrings. Apologies, you may lose my head here. And entrance of the dog. Hello, my boy. Loves a good stretch. Oh, yeah. So we're going to take the right leg forward, tuck the tailbone, and then we're leaning down into those hip flexors. So you're getting a big hip flexor stretch on the back leg here. Keep the chest lifted though. Hip flexors get quite a lot of work in Pilates when you have your legs up in tabletop, so really important to do this stretch. Then we're going to roll back onto the heel of this front leg. We're going to straighten out the leg. And then we're going to lean over. Going to get a big stretch now in this hamstring on the front leg. The further over you lean and the more you bring your toes up towards your head, the more of a stretch you're going to get. Nice deep breaths into this one. And then we'll switch the legs over. So left leg forward now. Again, just tucking that tailbone under before we lean forward into these hip flexors. And now we're stretching the hip flexors on the right leg, the back leg. And then straightening out the front leg again. Big hamstring stretch on this front leg. Again, just leaning over to get your desired stretch. And when you're ready, all we're going to do now is come and get ourselves ready to roll back up. Crouch down onto the mat. Take a couple of breaths here. So let's straighten the legs. Heels down. Readjust the feet so that they're back underneath the hips. And we're just going to hang here for a little moment longer. Take each elbow into the opposite hand. Release the head completely. Shake the head out a little bit. Release any tension that built up during any of the exercises that we did. Then we're going to release the hands, and before we come back up, pull the belly button up and in, squeeze your pelvic floor, and then take the biggest inhale that you've taken all day, and then on an exhale we're going to slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Head's going to be the last thing that lifts. And then we'll take a couple of nice deep breaths in here at the top, inhaling up, exhaling down. Let's do two more together. And last one. And you are all done. Well done for completing this workout. Please, if you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, share it with a friend who you think would benefit from it too. And I'll hopefully see you in another workout soon. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and feel free to revisit this workout whenever you want to take part in a full body Pilates workout. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe.